Hey everybody, so today we are in Colonial Williamsburg. So we decided to take a day trip. We were here quite a few years ago, back in the early I don't know, probably around 2005-ish maybe. But anyway.
4 or 5.
Things have changed a little bit already, but we're gonna go and see more of American history here.
All right, so we'll see you inside.
Yeah. Our first stop here is a stream. Now it's been upgraded, but this stream has probably been here from the get-go. And many of your ancestors may have drank from this exact stream. You never know.
It was much more crowded last time we were here. Okay, so this is the governor's palace. Pretty impressive. And then all the way along both sides of the road, all the way down a mile that way, is all Colonial Williamsburg.
And it's like a half-mile across. It's almost, yeah.
Yep. Maybe not. Yeah, kitchen servant. Did the dirty, smelly preparatory and cleanup for the kitchen here. This is not the place you want to work then. Okay. Maybe this is the kitchen over here. That way they can not be connected. And oddly enough.
I'll take some fresh baked bread. It's a fire pit.
Boy, you can smell. This is the smokehouse.
Ooh, yeah. You can smell it.
Yeah, you can still smell the smoke in here. You can smell it as you're walking up. That's pretty crazy. Look at all the char of everything up there. Wouldn't want to walk on the roof.
That's awesome.
And this one is
Salt house.
a salt house. Ooh, it has a pungent odor to it too. Before refrigeration, this is how they preserve their food. The well.
Wish you well.
I wish I had $1 million. Hot dog. What do you suppose this is? The larder. Oh.
10 acres. This is food store. Huh.
Game, aged meat. So it must go through the other. Oh, that's all the bigger it is. It's just this. Is the larder. That's the refrigerator. Yeah. 10-acre garden. I wouldn't want to be their gardener. This. Here, if anybody needs a.
So even back then they had drinking fountains in the well.
Okay. Smells very smoky in here.
When it's in the pie, I need more water than that. When it's in the pie pan, once you see
This must be the bakehouse?
pull away
Did you
from the
see
pie pan, there's a little gap in between it. You probably just need to leave it in there for like another 5 minutes or so, and it should be done.
Okay. Yeah. So I've separated the yolks from the whites. Gotten the whites whipped up into a meringue, but you don't put any sugar in them. Just leave them natural. Take your hot whatever you're frying in. Mine is lard. And take a spoonful of your meringue, plop it on in, take a spoon, make an indent in the back, drop in one of your egg yolks, close it in with more meringue, flip it over, flash fry it. When you cut into it, you should have the golden runny center of the fried egg with the fluffy fried white.
Williamsburg is the capital city, center of Virginia's government. Lord Dunmore is really here representing the British monarch, King George III at that point. Now, Lord Dunmore, he gets here in 1771, when in the middle of 1775, Lord Dunmore leaves. He leaves the governor's palace. He leaves Williamsburg. Now, he doesn't. They adopt the state constitution in 1776. They also elect a state governor. So the first state governor of Virginia, Patrick Henry, moves into the palace in 1776. 3 years later, Patrick Henry is followed by state governor number 2, Thomas Jefferson, who really only lived in the governor's palace for a few months, because in 1780, the Revolutionary War still going on, Virginia's government, for safety reasons, relocates the state capital city further to the west, to what they see as a more secure location, Richmond, Virginia. And even to this day, Richmond remains the state capital of Virginia. To the left, however, that's a behind-the-scenes look. It's a tremendous amount of work that it takes to maintain a household of this size and complexity. That's the pantry. Every governor will have a large staff in the 1700s. That staff in the palace, and they count 540 muskets, swords, and pistols. If you took the time today to count up all the weapons in our reconstructed palace, you would get that same number, 540. 80 of the muskets, the ones with the darker wood stocks, those are antiques from the time period. The remaining weapons are all faithful reproductions, including the staff. And Lord Dunmore himself, in 1774, he did take down 150 of the muskets to bring with him when he led Virginia's militia on a military campaign to the west against the Shawnee American Indians. A silk gown, perhaps suitable for an evening's entertainment, while we head down to the ballroom, the formal entertaining space this way. Do watch your step as the piece in here. So Thomas Jefferson, when he briefly lived in the building in 1779, he did draw up a floor plan of the first floor that included measurements. He did not, however, continue that floor plan up to the second floor. The second floor is kind of a guess based off the first floor. And Jefferson's floor plan did align with the archaeological remains, the brick foundation that survived the ground. Jefferson's floor plan and the archaeological remnants reveal that unlike the older section with those coal-burning fireplaces, which of course the base of the chimneys is a big broad brick base, looking at the footprint of the ballroom here and the supper room beyond, no fireplaces apparently put into the walls of this space. This was an addition added in the 1750s. Where another piece of information reveals how Lord Dunmore and his staff might have heated the ballroom in the 1770s. The second to last royal governor, Lord Botetourt, orders a set of 3 warming machines.
you could walk through the kitchen. I've been kind of getting the Outlander vibe here. Here's the Mackenzies. Dougal's in session. Oh, shop of Kenneth Mackenzie. 1770 or 1755. He lived awfully close to the governor's mansion.
Church.
It's a cemetery. And what is the church? Wow. You see inside the windows? Oh, I'm sad it's closed. It's closed today, unfortunately. Oh, squallers. Ooh, they're chasing each other. Look at them go.
They know you can't touch them.
Right? Oh, they're all over the place. Look at them all. Squallers everywhere.
I was gonna say this is a military mark here. Confederate soldier.
1862. The whole greenery out here is just squalor heaven. Okay, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 squirrels. Oh, 8. I didn't see this guy coming up. Huh. It's too bad the church is closed. I'd love to go inside of it.
Colonel Randolph Harrison, Confederate States. Well, I expect Civil War.
Look at the, I don't know if y'all can see it, but look at the writing on that. I wonder what it says. It's like a whole, like their obituary or something. It's like the whole thing. Could you imagine having to
There's a lot of
etch that in there?
it's weird when you put entries.
This is the palace from the end of the Palace Green, which sort of reminds me of what would be in Washington's the Mall, or even the idea of like Central Park in New York. Everybody could gather and do things, I guess. Promenade, as they did back then.
They decided not to use it.
Yeah.
That's the courthouse right there.
Oh, so that's a ticket booth. This is the courthouse here? Oh. So anything where you see the flag out in front, that is where the tours or that are open. So you're able to go in there as long as you've paid for your ticket. So let's see what this is. Well, that's the engraver. There's the armory he talked about. Magazine.
Which is basically,
I don't know the military lingo like John does. Excuse me, I got it wrong.
well, that's what they called it. These were like arches, basically, street lamps.
Yeah. I wonder if they burn them at night or if it's just display.
I would guess. I don't know.
Well, it looks like they actually burn them because it's got soot down below.
Yeah.
So it looks like they might be dipped in something. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Here is the courthouse in Williamsburg. So I'm guessing that if you committed a crime or had a grievance against somebody, this is where you took it. So this is where you end up if in fact you are guilty of a crime. I wonder if they throw fruit and stuff at you. Doesn't look like a fun outcome. I wonder if this is just your feet and then you sit down? I don't know. Never seen one like that before. John has a cute little blue star on his name tag. Oh, he's wearing a watch. Holy smokes. Come on.
The promise of a roof overhead for the evening, and the stabling and feeding of your horse. The meal usually consisted of a stew or soup with a hunk of bread and a glass of cider. Now, the sleeping arrangements gets interesting because if this town were very busy at any given time, being the capital city, you might not get a bed at all. You might get a pallet, a three-sided pocket of fabric stuffed with whatever they had on hand. Anything from horsehair to rags to pine boughs to pad you against the hard floor. And they would utilize a space such as this because now the evening meals served, the tables and chairs are relaxed against the wall. I can envision a dozen pallets in this room. And they would do so as needed. Now, there were between 12 and 17 active taverns in the town. Can you guess why that might be? This is the capital of the colony of Virginia, the largest of the 13, the most affluent and the most populated. Virginia. Virginia went to the Mississippi River and up into Canada around the lower Great Lakes, behind Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York State, all claimed by the king for the Virginia colony. Some argue it might have been all the way to California, even though there were no English and out there was Spanish territory, but the king claimed it. So welcome home. Rum punch. You've got your bottles of rum and your punch bowl, and right down here you've got your bathroom. You're a one-stop shop here. This is the bar in the tavern. Well, folks, welcome to the second largest room in Williamsburg. The Apollo Room, named after the Greek god Apollo, the god of dance, music, and poetry. You see, our colonial brethren were very much intrigued by Roman and Greek mythology, the Apollo.
What'd you get?
I've got a chocolate, or not a chocolate, but a peanut butter cookie that was made in the 1700s.
Okay, take your first bite then.
Wrapped in cellophane for, I think that's what it's called.
Cellophane? Okay.
See how fresh it is.
Oh, it looks pretty fresh.
Breaks apart pretty nice. Good preservatives. Very good.
This is the Capitol building. The original Capitol building for the Virginia colony.
So it looks like possibly entries over there.
Capitol building. So even though this is a reconstruction, it has been standing longer than the other two were. And we'd really like your help in preserving that. So please make sure there's no eating or drinking while we're inside the building. If you do have any food or drink, I just ask that you put it away and make sure it's sealed. And then secondly, if you have any chewing gum, I will ask that you dispose of it in the clay pot just right behind me here. I would say you're welcome to come pick it up after the tour. However, someone genuinely took me up on that offer and I am still scarred for life. So please leave it there. We will accept it with your donation. While we're inside, please make sure those cell phones are on silent.
To get tried here. Murder, manslaughter, rape, horse theft, hog theft on the third count, witchcraft, Catholicism, treason, arson, counterfeit, things like that are going to get tried here. This court is presided over by the royal governor. He is the man sitting in that big chair just right behind me. He is going to be appointed by the crown, this is Queen Anne, for life. He is surrounded by the 12 men of his council. Those 12 counselors are also appointed by the crown for life. None of those 13 men, however, need to know the law. That is the job of the clerk sitting in front of them at this table here. It is the clerk's job to know the law, as well as to take notes for the trial and to maintain the docket. On this side of the room, we are going to have the attorneys. If you could afford an attorney, this would be where they work. If you could not afford an attorney, it's too bad. We don't give you a court-appointed attorney until after we declare independence. On this side of the room, we are going to have the 12 members of our jury. In order to serve on a jury, in order to vote, or in order to be elected to the House of Burgesses, there were 5 qualifications that you had to have. You had to be white, male, over the age of 21, Protestant or in good standing with the church, and landowning. If you did not meet any one of those 5 qualifications, you were not what we would consider a freeholder, which meant you could not participate in those 3 things that I told you. So let's say you were here standing trial for manslaughter. It was truly an accident, you didn't mean to do it. What you could do is you could ask for benefit of clergy. What they're going to do is they're going to take this brand, it is an M for manslaughter. It will be red hot. They will place your hand on the bar, and then place the brand on the base of your thumb at your left hand. They will hold it there for as long as it takes you to say God save the Queen, or God save the King, depending on who is in power. That is your get out of jail free card. You only get one, so if you are accused of another felony crime and are considered guilty, they will notice you have a brand on your hand, which means that you cannot ask for benefit of clergy again. So if you are found guilty, you will be sentenced to death a mile outside of town at the gallows.
I don't know what this room is. I did not hear her when she said, but we're supposed to ooh and ah over it. So, ooh, ah. The way the windows look. You can see the marks in the glass when they were made. And the ripples. Look, there's ripples. So you can feel them.
It's really interesting that every country, every civilization's got a method in weaving on some level. So it's one of those things, I guess, that kind of, you know, nobody really knows.
John here looking for some book learning. I think we need a huzzah, Papa. Huzzah!
Jefferson Bible. This is like a photocopy.
Deep South pickles. Pumpkin butter. Apple butter. Ooh. Pumpkin spice syrup.
You did it.
Honey.
All right, you did it. All right, thank you. All right, bye. We did it. Okay. We did it. We were doing the we did it. So you found one.
Tea brick.
Got one for 200.
Okay. Is that one it?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many pages of paper?
Here's a chocolate stout. But I thought you liked it. They got mead. Hand sanitizer station at Colonial Williamsburg. Not so sure it's going to work very well. All right, so here we are. We just finished Colonial Williamsburg here in Virginia. What a great experience if you like history at all. Any kind of American history, Virginia state history, any of that. Good place to get a lot of knowledge and experience what it would have been like, or what the buildings were like. You walk into some of these shops or buildings, and it just takes you instantly back to what your imagination would think it would be like to have lived back in 1773, 4, 5, 6, whatever, because it's been around forever. But definitely worth the trip. The first time we came, we did not spend the money to do the tours or go into a lot of the little touristy areas where you, like the weaver's house and the cobbler or the blacksmith. Those are all things that you have to either have the pass for or pay extra for. They require a ticket. So we did that this time, and what a much more enjoyable experience than the first time, when basically we just walked by and we're like, oh, that's cool, there's a house, you know. So this time we actually got to experience it and see it firsthand.
Yeah, I would agree. And there is it's called the Liberty Lounge. So if you are military, prior military affiliation whatsoever, you can go in there, and if you do have the pass, they're going to put a star on my pass today, so that identifies me as a prior military. So you can take yourself plus family members into the lounge, and it's like a USO. So very cool, great conversation. We only stayed a few minutes, but since we didn't go last time, I wanted to go this time, so it was enjoyable. One of the key aspects for me was, like what you're saying, you had the interpreters, so they gave you the background, the history, so you actually knew what you were in and looking at. But we went into the Raleigh Tavern, or so it's a replica. So they rebuilt the tavern, but they have the actual
blueprint,
so they could actually make it off of that. So one of the cool things was it had an interpreter in there, and it talked about our forefathers being in there, basically where we started to succeed from
the crown.
The crown. So highly recommend it. You know, paid a little bit of money that it costs to do the places that you can go into, especially with the interpreters, so you can get the information.
It was really impressive to hear them talk about, you know, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and our founding fathers for our country basically were in that room. And we could say that we've technically walked
in their footsteps.
In their footsteps. Unfortunately, the buildings that they said that they were in had burnt down, and they're basically replicas. But because they have the ability to rebuild it per the blueprints, and that they have documentation that will also back up the fact that they were there and what they did and all of the history that they were involved in for our country. So it really, it kind of made you feel like you'd step back in time and you were able to experience, you know, what it would have been like. But one of the interpreters, he said that this was, or maybe it wasn't a he. Anyway, one of them, it's all kind of blurred together, said that it was the nice, what they tell us was the niceness of it. They show you the lifestyles as if you were a wealthy person, where, what do you say, like 80% of, was it 80%?
I don't remember the percentage, but yeah, the people that basically lived inside of Williamsburg were they're the ones
the
that
elite.
They're the elite. So it's eye-opening, and just how things ran back then. It's very interesting.
I was impressed to see both sides of it. Just the more rich or more affluent lifestyle, but then you could also see where the slave quarters were, where, you know, where the dark history, so to speak, where they're talking about there was a home that somebody was able to purchase, and with that purchase of home came like 29 humans. So it's that dark history, and they didn't cover that up. They were very open, honest, and factual with all of that, and I appreciated that as well, because I feel like there's too many places like this that would just as soon sugarcoat or hide or not even mention, and the fact that here in Colonial Williamsburg, they actually not put it on the forefront, but they didn't hide it either. And it wasn't like pushed in your face or anything like that, but at the same time, it was definitely part of history, and they explained that.
Yeah, it's more of a factual history lesson than you would get in certain places.
Yeah. But
for me, George Washington, he's my favorite president. He's my favorite general. So, like I mentioned in other videos, that to be where our forefathers have stood, you know, like in Yorktown. So to know that in that one building, although the building's not the same, but Washington, and I think he said even Jefferson, but for George Washington to have been in that vicinity is very cool to me. So if you're a history buff, and if you're not, but you want to learn about our country, this is where it started. So I highly recommend it.
Agreed. Definitely worth the cost. Was it $47 per person, and then you got a discount because the military? No, we both got the discount, right?
We both got a military discount.
So they gave us the military discount, so it was a lesser cost. I don't know for sure. I can't remember what that was. And then she made a point to be very specific about that little blue star and what it meant and everything, and thanked John for his service, and that he got quite a few people thanked you.
A few people recognized it. And the cookie that I ate in the video earlier, the guy gave me a discount off of the cookie. I mean, it was just that much. It's definitely not expected. It was a $2 cookie, but he still gave me a discount just because he saw the star. I didn't say anything, didn't ask for a discount, but so it's kind of cool when you are recognized for what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
Very small part, but it's at the end of the day, it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
That's going to wrap up Colonial Williamsburg. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and to always live your dash, or live your dash. I'll get in trouble for that one.
With no regrets. He always sets me up. Anyway, all right. Until next time, have a good day.
Aloha.
You're so weird.